The Subtlety Rogue is the go-to spec for rogue PvP, and that's the subject of this video. Hello everyone, it's Ego, and today we'll be taking a look at the Sub-Rogue in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Now, I'll be going over only the essentials to Sub-Rogue PvP, so if you're looking to expand your knowledge further and beyond this guide, I'll leave a link to a great resource down below, which will be the Rogue class Discord. So here are the topics we'll be going through in this video. We'll be going over the 3 different talent builds for 3 different playstyles. We're going to look at professions, stat priority, gearing, gems and enchants, consumables, rotation, arena comps, and finishing it off with weak auras, add-ons, and macros. Now, for the talent builds, I have 3 that I want to go over. The main difference between these 3 builds is simple, it's about your playstyle. For our first build, we have the standard Sub-Rogue build, which is a safe build to go for, especially if you're starting out. Next, we move on to the ambush build for sub, where you take points out of improved gouge and slap them into improved ambush for the extra crit chance. And finally, we have the third build, and my personal favorite, and that's the bleed build. This build uses bleeds more often than the other 2 builds due to the fact you take points from improved eviscerate and dirty tricks to put them into blood splatter and malice. For glyphs, you'll be looking at the glyph of vigor, which will give you extra 10 energy from the vigor talent. Then you'll grab the glyph of shadow dance and the glyph of preparation. For professions, if you're looking to maximize your damage potential, you'll want to snag up engineering and tailoring. Engineering will most notably give you access to the hyperspeed accelerators and then of course your nitro boots. For tailoring, you'll get the ability to give yourself the amazing cloak enchant called Sword Guard Embroidery. This enchant is absolutely nuts and it'll really pump up your burst damage game. Stat priority for the Sub-Rogue will go as follows. You'll want to first get your hit cap, which means you'll need 5% hit rating total without any buffs or racials. Next up, you'll want to go for expertise to reduce your chance of being dodged or parried. You'll be looking for anywhere between 40 to 60 to heavily reduce the chance of being parried or dodged. Some classes have increased parry chance, so you'll want to at least get a minimum to ensure you won't always be getting parried. The next stat, which is extremely important in PvP, is resilience. Now for resilience, you'll want to tailor your gear to the comp you're playing with. If you're playing with a healer, you may want to mix more PvE pieces with higher damage into your gear. But if you're playing with an absolute pumper, you can swap out more pieces for resilience pieces to gain a little bit more sustainability. There's some wiggle room with this stat, however, you'll be looking to have at bare minimum around 800 resilience. And if you're stacking it, you'll be looking at closer to 1300 by the end of Wrath of the Lich King. Now we're looking at attack power and armor pen. These 2 stats I put together because depending on when you're watching this guide, your priority will change. In the early phases of the game, like phase 1, you'll be having gear with a lot less armor pen on it compared to later phases. So if that's the case, you'll be looking to prioritize attack power. If it's later in the expansion, you'll want to instead start focusing on more armor pen, which has a cap of 1400. You won't get there with PvP gear alone, but you can weave in a few PvE pieces to at least get closer. Finally, you'll be looking at critical strike. This stat will come with a majority of your gear, so it's something you don't really need to stack up on. You don't want to be gemming this stat either though, because you'd benefit much more from attack power gems, for example. Moving on to gearing as a Sub-Rogue for PvP. Now, as I mentioned in the stat priority section, you can swap out a lot of your PvP pieces for PvE pieces, especially if you're looking to sacrifice some survivability for more damage. So with that being said, you'll want to be getting some best in slot PvE gear on top of your PvP gear. So I'm recommending you check out an add-on called Loon Best in Slot. This add-on will show you your best in slot gear for each phase and for any class that you want to take a look at. Besides that, your gearing will be pretty straightforward, with the best PvP gear being the current season arena gear. As far as gems and enchants, you'll be looking to stack as much attack power as you can in your gem slots while maintaining your meta gem bonus. Enchants will be very similar to your PvE enchants, and I've included a little snippet for your reference. Consumables, which will be primarily used in battlegrounds, will be the Flask of Endless Rage, Fist Feast or Hardy Rhino, and then of course Potions of Speed. For your poisons, you'll be wanting Deadly and Wound Poison. Deadly will be on your fast offhand, and Wound will be on your slow main hand dagger. If you don't have the Waylay talent, you can consider swapping a poison for Crippling Poison. Now to look at the rotation. Now the beauty of Sub-Rogue is that there's no cookie cutter rotation. PvP isn't like PvE where every fight is predictable, so you need to be quick on your feet and ready to react. There is, however, a few basics that I can share with you. So ideally, you'll want to start off with a sap on your target. From there, you'll pop Premeditation for 2 combo points, then you'll Slice and Dice. From there, you have a few options on your next ability. You can Cheap Shot, which is the most common and safe opener. You can Garrote to silence a caster during your opener, or if you know that the person you're fighting is rather squishy, you can start off with an ambush. If you want to add a little extra punch to your opening ambush, don't forget to Shadow Step to get that 20% extra damage. From there, you move into straight up damage through Hemorrhage or Backstab depending on where you are in regards to your target. Then you can throw in a Kidney Shot and continue spamming Hemo and Backstab. From there, you can do finishers like Rupture and Eviscerate. If you're looking to really snag a quick kill on a Clothy, for example, you could consider doing a Kidney after your initial opener and then Shadow Dancing into Ambush spam. Now be sure not to forget some signature abilities like Vanish, Cloak of Shadows, Blind, and Gouge, which can get you out of some sketchy situations. Just remember that no fight will be the same, so be sure you understand your toolkit so you know when to use specific abilities. The best arena comps for Sub Rogue will be as follows. For 2v2, your top 3 comps will be Sub Rogue Shadow Priest, Sub Rogue Disc Priest, Sub Rogue, and Frost Mage. For 3v3, your top 3 comps will be Sub Rogue Frost Mage Disc Priest, Sub Rogue Shadow Priest Resto Druid, Sub Rogue Shadow Priest, and Resto Shaman. For 5v5, your comps can be quite expansive, so be sure to at the very least understand the benefits of each class and what they will bring to the table in an arena. For weak auras, macros, add-ons, and more, I've created a list that I continue to update with the best add-ons, macros, and weak auras I can find in my Warcraft journey so far. If you'd like to get access to this list, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, which is free to do, and then head over to the channel homepage. From there, you'll see the sub-only video, click on it, and go to the description. You'll have access to a bunch of exclusive sub-only content. That'll be it for the guide, everyone. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. You're an absolute legend. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below and be sure to also subscribe to the channel for more Warcraft content. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.